I find myself going back to work, not doing the work, the internal work of healing that mother wound, so to speak.
Right.
You fast forward, I have my rainbow baby son in 2018. Everything's great. Then we fast forward to my daughter. And I think in that moment of being presented with the fact that it was the birth of another daughter,
yes,
everything resurfaced.
Yes, absolutely.
And my depression spiraled.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Seasons, where we talk about the good, the beautiful, the bad, the messy, everything in between about being a woman, a mom, entrepreneur. Today, I have the incredible Denise Castro. She is the founder of Virtual Mom Connective. Did I say that right?
Collective.
Excuse me. Virtual Mom Collective, another entrepreneur. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm really, I will tell the world. So we met on a panel for a baby shower, which is like so mom of us.
Yes, super mom.
And you have an incredible story that I would love to talk to you about. But first, tell me your background. Where are you from? Where did you grow up?
Absolutely. So first things first, thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely love platforms that elevate, the working mom voice. For a very long time, I considered myself a person with a very unique trademark, so to speak. I'm a Cuban American, first generation mom, Latina, author, all the things.
Amazing.
Founder now from Virtual Mom Collective. And a little bit about me, I was very passionate about helping women in construction.
Okay.
I'm a woman in construction. There isn't a lot of moms and there isn't a lot of women, period, in that space.
Yeah.
So I'm really, looking forward to pushing the boundaries, getting more women involved in those very labor intensive positions so that we can have more, stage presence in the AEC industry, which stands for architecture, engineering, and construction.
Very cool. And so was that your background? You always did engineering, construction?
That is somewhat my background. I'm an accidental contractor, actually.
Okay.
I went to school for marketing and business management.
That's a good story.
And then I accidentally started working for a large contractor in South Florida. And I learned just the trade of the business, like how to pitch yourself, how to get real estate investment up and going, how to get redevelopment done. And I saw a lot of not a lot of women in that space.
Yeah, that's incredible. So how are you bringing women in, elevating women in the space, or what is that a focus that you're on?
Yes,
absolutely.
Absolutely. So we actually employ 60% project managers. Most of them are women.
Awesome.
Which is pretty incredible. And I'm really intentional about mentorship when it comes to women who want to, explore the space, whether it's on the real estate side or on the contracting side. And what we try to do is to get them fresh out of university so that they can have that experience, whether it's a paid internship and they want to, come back and work for a larger contractor or a subcontractor, which is more in the smaller space on trades, right? Like electrical contractors, plumbing, all these industries that are very vocational. We're losing a lot of individuals in those spaces.
Yeah, no,
so
that
it's
makes
something we need
sense.
to bring back.
That's awesome. I love that. And so you're lifting women, giving them opportunities.
Yes,
That's incredible.
Yes.
And so when did that start? Did you already go to school and then have kids? Or
yes. So it
tell
kind
me
of
your
like
mom
yes,
background.
the accidental contractor. I started working for this construction company. I built their pipeline. I built their portfolio. And in 2020, after the pandemic, they were like, we don't want to do this anymore. Do you want to buy the company?
Wow.
From me and my partner. And I had just, for a moment, I was like, what? What do you mean? I have been in this company for 10 plus years. I built, we don't want to do this anymore. We don't want to build. We want to, do high-rise masonry, which is more trade specific. And in that moment, I had just had my daughter.
Yeah.
It was pandemic time. And my mental health was really struggling because I was stuck at home. I was unable to visit my job sites. I had to, obviously just kind of confine myself. And I was presented with this opportunity and I was like, okay, what's the trade-off here? I felt like I was going through the worst postpartum depression that I could have ever, just dealt with. Backtrack to 2016, when I had my first daughter. She was a stillbirth, Sophia Grace. In that moment of my life, I was not considered a biological mom.
I remember you saying that.
And I returned to the workforce 3 days later because it doesn't classify as disability.
Wow.
There's no paid leave that covers that.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness.
So I find myself going back to work, not doing the work, the internal work of healing that mother wound, so to speak.
Right.
You fast forward, I have my rainbow baby son in 2018. Everything's great. Then we fast forward to my daughter. And I think in that moment of being presented with the fact that it was the birth of another daughter,
Yes.
everything resurfaced.
Yes, absolutely.
And my depression spiraled. So I'm presented with, a wonderful opportunity to buy in terms of leadership, to rise up and become, the owner of something that I've been building for a very long time. And at the same time, I'm mentally struggling to just get my bearings as to all this process, which I thought I had kind of dealt with, which I hadn't.
Yes.
So I find myself, completely isolated. I remember talking to another mom. I was like, we need to start a group or something.
Yes.
While I'm, seeking help and talking to a therapist. And we were just all mentally drowning, and Virtual Mom Collective was born from that thought.
That's incredible. And I can completely relate. I had my first child during COVID, and looking, in my mind, I was going to bounce back, go to the gym, go to the mom groups, go to the mommy and me's, meet up with our strollers. Right. And there was nothing. And I relate. I was full postpartum depression. And so tell me more. I'm still in shock, literally hearing you that you had to go back to work 3 days after a stillbirth because your body still went through it. Did you physically give birth?
Physically, she was born. So it was like going through the motions.
100%.
But because in that moment, I didn't say the truth, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
I kept it under wraps because I was more worried about being perceived as weak.
Wow.
And it would take years for me to understand that journey is what makes me strong.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But, I think that's really important to say out loud because a lot of women go through that. We do think that, we're weak or less or incapable because, either wanting to be a mom or not being able to, or when things don't go right, we're not taught how to handle that.
Exactly.
Wow. And so you go back to work 3 days later, but how, you didn't even heal. I'm feeling for you.
It was a process of, my disassociation was so powerful because I was able to conceal and just operate and, literally put it underneath a rug and pretend like it never happened because it was so painful. It was so hard. It was
so sorry.
Something that it's that mother wound, right?
Absolutely.
So, and my generation as well, in Latina households or generations, we don't talk about things in that manner of mental health is not something until maybe now where the dialogue is more open,
absolutely,
more honest, where we're actually actively trying to understand, what happened from one generation to another when you pass off that generational trauma.
Yes.
And I would come to find after I wrote my book that my grandmother also had a stillbirth.
Wow.
And it was having that shared journey with her is what kind of ignited the fact that we have work to do. We have some serious work to do as women, as mothers, as a collective, as Latinas.
Yes.
We need to start having these hard conversations when things get hard because Motherhood is so hard.
It is so hard.
So hard.
It is so
It is the
hard.
hardest hat I've ever had to wear, and I wear a lot of hats.
Yes, it is. It is. And wow, I'm like still processing for you with you. That's incredible. I mean, I'm sorry to pry, but I've got to ask, like, so did your workforce, did they know? Like, did they ask you where's your baby?
So no, actually I said it was a miscarriage.
Okay.
So it was easier, no questions. It was just back to normal. There was no fuss. I did a disservice to myself, and I know that now.
Yeah.
And if I could, talk to the mother that I was then, I would let her know that it's okay to crumble. It's okay to process the vulnerability. I would have told her it's okay to be overweight, and people ask, why are you so overweight, as opposed to what's really happening.
Yep.
And it was, like I said, a period in my time, in my life, that I felt that I didn't have the courage to speak out loud about what had happened to me, only because I was worried about keeping it together for everyone else but myself.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a truth for a lot of women, like needing to show up, needing to go back to work, and needing that income, needing, that identity, career woman, and, I just got to go and pick yourself back up. Did you find also that was just like, and you mentioned it, kind of compartmentalizing, like, okay, if I just focus on going back to work, then I won't have to focus on, what just happened. Was that like part of it for you?
It was. I was more worried about holding on to my job, because I felt like my job was who I was.
Right.
It was like my identity. Like, who am I without X?
Yep.
And I really should have been questioned, who am I without any of it? Just who am I?
Yeah. And that's so important and so beautiful, because like now you get to look back and ask yourself that. And I think I agree with everything. And it happens in so many cultures. Like, we're not having these conversations. And like, really, that's why like this platform was born, because I realized that like there is very recently our immediate past generation, because we're similar ages, like we don't talk about these things. And it is just, go to school, go to work, have a career, be a mom, grow a family. But like, what if it doesn't go to plan? And there isn't that offer of, now it's spoken about mental health, and you can find everywhere, like virtually, and like talk to Better Health or whomever, or get therapy. But like, that's also taboo. Like, oh, I need to get a therapist, or I need to unpack this. At the time, were you married? Are you married?
I am married. I was married to my current husband. That's that trend that's going around. But yeah, no, I was married, and I remember, dealing with it in a very like individual manner.
Yes.
And I didn't realize till years later, how much it impacted us as parents.
Yes.
How the fact of not processing the way that we felt about that happening to us, and how very grateful we are to have been able to, have a son and then a daughter years later.
Incredible. And embrace that. Was he the same? Did he compartmentalize?
No,
and like, okay,
he
we're just
compartmentalized. He did it for me. He never, no.
Got it.
He did it exactly what.
He followed your lead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it was very hard. It was very hard. It was like an unspoken time in your life. And I think we do that a lot, because that's how we've been conditioned to handle those situations in our lives.
Absolutely.
Like, don't rock the boat, don't ask for the raise. Don't be so much, be less.
Yeah.
Lower your voice.
Yes.
When there's some
Be
sort
proper.
of turmoil. Yeah.
Right.
Handle it diligently. And I am of the mindset that you can process things, with intention, and you can try to sort of mull over all the parts that you wish you would have handled better.
100%.
And I always, I'm hard on myself on that. But, I'm doing it now, and I think being honest and open about my
Absolutely.
journey
Yeah.
is kind of like our logo, which I always bring up, the Virtual Mom Collective logo is the word mom, right? So,
Yes.
and you see up close, it's an M, it's married with an O, and the O is actually it's like a lifesaver. It's a little it's like,
Yes.
you know, the
Yes, the
circle.
raft.
Yes.
Oh, that's incredible.
That extends to another M
Yes.
and marries the word mom.
Yeah.
And that's the way I coined it, because I always thought to myself, I wish I had another mom
Yeah.
who has gone through this type of grief and loss. And when I created the community, I found all of them.
I
They
know.
came to me through, you know, extending that raft
Yes.
out there.
Yes.
And kudos to my board, because each of them have connected not only with me, but other moms. You know, we serve about 3,000 women in the South
Wow,
Florida
that's
area.
incredible.
We are a nationally organized organization,
Oh,
nonprofit.
that's incredible.
Thank you. We have awarded about $10,000 in mother mentor grants, helping women, whether it's through
Wow.
grief, loss,
Yes.
IVF, postpartum, every period of and every season of motherhood. We have been able to help them not only financially, but find the help that they need to get to the next step of whatever season they find themselves in.
Yeah, absolutely. That's incredible. And I mean, it's so needed. It's so needed. And, you know, and now speaking to, you know, tons of women, that was always my thing. I had a really, really rough postpartum road. And I share that with you, like COVID, again, there wasn't the community. And then like moving to Florida, it was the same thing. Like I wanted the community so bad. And that's incredible that you offered that and created that for yourself. And so tell me a little bit more. And I'm sorry, I keep prying, but I just like have to know. After your stillbirth, was there postpartum there? Like, did you go through the hormones and emotions there?
I don't know. I probably went through the motions, but again, I think I did such a great job in disassociating with it.
Yeah.
That years later, and I talk about this in my book, when my daughter was born, that's when it resurfaced.
Yes. So with your son,
With
how
my
did you
son,
process all of that?
With my son, it was maybe it's because he was a boy.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe my hormones felt different, but I didn't have the fear that I felt with my daughter. I felt probably also COVID had a little bit or a lot to do with those feelings. Like, oh my God, like, what are you going to do? You know,
Right.
I wasn't sure my husband was going to be able to see her when she was born.
Right.
Like, it was like,
Yes.
what?
Yes.
But with my son, and rainbow babies are very special. Rainbow babies are very special because they connect that piece of like the baby that was before, and they carry that in history. And as you know, that marrow never leaves you. The blood of
Yes.
those babies, they never
Yes.
leave your body, whether it's, you know, through miscarriage
Yep.
or like chemical pregnancy.
Yeah.
All those, you know, blood cells will always be a part of you.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, going back to my son, that rainbow baby was so
you
special.
Tell us what a rainbow baby is.
So a rainbow baby is a baby that is to full term after you've had any sort of loss.
Got it.
Whether it's a chemical pregnancy, a stillbirth,
and
you know,
chemical pregnancy is
it's when an embryo doesn't really form,
got it.
and it's a form of miscarriage. It's like the earliest stage of miscarriage that you can ever have.
Got it.
And then there's, failed transfers after IVF. I've never
Right.
gone, I did not luckily have to go down that road, but I had unexplained infertility after my son for 3 years because my body still very much thought it was pregnant.
Absolutely.
And I was going through the motions. So I kept like, I don't understand, like all the science said everything was fine.
Right.
But emotionally, I wasn't.
Yeah.
And I think my body was just trying to tell me, and that's why it's so special. If your mind and your body don't not line up, your rainbow baby won't appear, because
I
that's
absolutely agree. It's that mind-body connection, and it's almost protecting yourself. It's almost like your body telling you, not yet, take care of yourself, take care of your son, be in this season
in the season
before you can continue. And
Yes.
It's so true. It's so true because I hear that. I've heard that a lot. Like I couldn't have, and we tried for 6 months, 2 years, 3 years, and then it just happened. And a lot of times it's letting go of the stress and it's letting go of trying and just like letting it be. And that's incredible. And then, so after your son, he was how old when you had your daughter?
He was 3. He was 3 when I had my daughter.
And I find that to be the perfect age. Mine are 2.5. It's like perfect.
The three are this exactly. Like he was on his way out of diapers.
Yes.
Or almost there.
And then
there was an overlap that was really difficult. But
yes.
we got there. We got there. And I remember just feeling so grateful and, also probably, conditioned a lot of a helicopter mom, like, oh my God. But it's also that survival mode of like, my son probably felt when he was inside me that in utero of like, stay.
Yes.
Be safe.
Yes.
Be with me.
Yes.
Don't leave me.
Yes.
So like, he's a very special boy. I get a little like
That's
teary-eyed, but
no, boys
he's a
are
very special boy.
They are.
And there's a lot to say about rainbow babies. They're very in tune. They feel a lot.
Yes.
They are their mother's keeper.
Yeah. Boys are like that too. You know what a beautiful saying I heard? Boys are here to show you love and girls are here to teach you a lesson.
Oh, yes.
And
yes.
Truly, I have 2 boys, so I don't have a girl, but same, coming from a background of trauma and a really uneasy first birth. My first was in a NICU, and
hard.
I shared a little of my story, but it was everything I thought it wouldn't, right? You have this incredible picture in your mind that it's going to be a certain way, and you find out things that you don't even know, like what's an episiotomy? What are you doing? What are you fixing? What do you mean? I mean, literally, my son came out and didn't cry. And so I'm in the hospital, and talking about not talking, no one says anything, and I'm there like, he's not crying. And, going through that, and it just tumbled from there. He was in the NICU and we didn't bond, and then postpartum, and they say breastfeeding helps, and that was out of the door for me too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then COVID. And I remember he had like RSV at 4 months, I want to say. And
That's
it was
so hard.
It was so hard. But the hardest part is exactly what you said, being in the hospital solo. Can your partner come? So my partner was not allowed to sleep with me in the hospital. So I stayed. I couldn't leave him. There was no switching out. That wasn't an option for me.
Oh, God.
So, I mean, I share that with you. I share, I haven't had, a stillbirth, but the postpartum is so real. And like, my heart feels for you. Like going back to work 3 days in, like, I don't know if I could. I might have quit. Like I can't. You are so strong. I'm like sitting here looking at you, and like, because of that, and now you have, this incredible collective. I love that name, this collective that you've created.
Thank you.
And so postpartum, did you have it, and you said it again, please remind me, with your son and with your daughter?
I had a great postpartum with my son.
That's incredible.
Which was very fortunate. And I think it's because I was just so overjoyed, and I wanted to be so present.
Yes.
In the moment, and
Yes.
just absorbing like having a baby in my arms.
Yeah.
And I think that it was a very beautiful time in my life. And as you said, when the girl came, she taught me a lesson.
Yes.
The lesson that I did not want to learn the first time, which is it's okay to not be okay.
Yes.
And I remember if mom's not okay, then the baby's not going to be okay. So I
Right.
would put that on myself, but then I didn't know how not to be okay
Right.
in front of my babies, because I felt like if I don't keep it together, then they are going to feel like, they're responsible for the fact that I felt this way.
I know exactly what you mean.
And I didn't want that for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought that concealing it and keeping it all together was really the way to handle such a hard point in my life.
Yes.
And when I felt the I felt my daughter in my arms, I remember feeling, oh my God, this is what it feels like to have a girl.
Right.
And I was so blessed and thankful. And when I got home, I didn't want to hold her because
I
the
can
memory
relate.
was,
Yeah.
it was the feeling of like, I didn't get to hold her the first time.
Right.
I didn't get to be with her and see her to full term.
Right.
I won't know what that feels like. I don't deserve to be given this opportunity to have this
Right.
beautiful, healthy, 10 fingers, 10 toes,
Yes.
baby girl in my
Yes.
arms.
Yes.
And I knew that the moment that I didn't want to breastfeed her, I wanted my husband to hold her,
Yeah.
I knew I needed help.
Yes. That's incredible. And it's so funny. You literally took the word out of my mind that you felt like you didn't deserve it. Cause I can understand that. I mean, there was such a dissociation with my first boy. Like I felt the same way. It was, how can I take care of myself and another little person? And there was this, I would look at him and with so much love, but like inability almost to bond, to really have that like feeling, almost that guilt of like, I'm supposed to want to hold you and I'm supposed to want to cuddle you. But like that immediate connection wasn't there. So I in my heart know exactly what you're saying. Like it didn't click. It took me 9 months for it to click and just like, okay, you're a mom now and enjoy. But it was still a year after that before I got on a weight loss journey. And, in the time I was seeing a therapist and a psychiatrist, and it still wasn't enough. Did you seek therapy right away?
I sought therapy right away.
Which is an incredible, huge step.
It was a big step. And I obviously I had spoken to someone before,
Yeah.
but that was, that was way before kids. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm also modeling and I'm starting this community. And there was that factor of like, do I feel like opening up about my mental health?
Mm-hmm.
Another factor that it's not good for me to lead in this moment.
Oh, interesting.
So I felt that weight of whether it was good to be honest and transparent about what I was going through in that moment. And I chose actually the latter. I chose to be like, hey, I got to take a step back. I know we started this community, but I'm in the middle of this.
Right.
And I wrote a chapter of my book when I was in the middle of, it's called the Postpartum Carousel, because that's how it feels.
Yeah.
It feels like you're on a carousel that won't stop.
Literally.
You have no control.
Yep.
You are time is going by and you're trying to keep it together for everybody's sake. You're trying to hold on to however you want this like horse that you're currently riding to go forward, and you have no direction. It just keeps spinning out of control. And that's how I can define postpartum depression to anybody who's struggling, that feeling of no control, the inability to really express how you feel, the weight of the judgment of others.
Yep.
Oh, how could she possibly be the founder of Virtual Mom Collective when she can barely keep grasp of her own bearings? And I remember talking about how imposter syndrome is a huge part of postpartum depression. If it's not something that you address willingly prior to, it doesn't matter what season you are in your life, it's always there. She always rears her head.
Yes, she does.
And you have to find a way to master and quiet her down, because she will bring the ugliest parts of you to the surface. Yeah. And it's up to you to get the helps to know how to quiet those parts of that mind so you can move forward.
Absolutely. And imposter syndrome is the idea that you're not good enough ever. Even if you have the degrees, even if you've got it together, for some reason you won't be good enough, you can't manage it. And it's so real, and it pops up all the time. But if we don't talk about these things, then you think you're the only one.
Exactly.
And then you think that you're broken and that you're the only one going through postpartum. How could you not be happy that you have a baby? How could you, I can so relate, and it becomes a blur. And like, it's such a good analogy. You're on a carousel that you want to get off of, and you're up and down. And that's another amazing analogy of the hormones. And you're up and down and round, and it's a blur.
It is.
It's almost, you are disassociated.
You are.
Like, you are not that human. And just watching it all transpire, I mean, I can so relate. And like,
and I'm glad I brought you a copy of my book. I left it in the car,
I'm going
but
to read it because it is so important. And you're going to tell me more. Did you do a book tour? Have you spoken about postpartum? Because you need to. And like, that's something, you know, after my talk, it was all on postpartum. I was watching the other women in the room, and like, I don't know if you remember, but another mom said, like, how do you get over the guilt? And I think that's key as a mom, like this mom guilt. Like, will my kid remember? Will we repair? And the truth is, like, we're just human. We're just, before being a mom, just human. But like, we're so hard on ourselves.
So hard.
What was the catapult for you? Like, what did depression look like for you? What was it? Depression? Was it anxiety? I had everything.
For me, it looked like being completely dissatisfied with my response to not wanting to connect with my daughter.
Right.
And I remember feeling like, oh my God, I went through all the seasons with my son, and I did, the monthly photos. And I remember thinking I wasn't excited about her monthly photos until probably month 3 or 4, where I started to see a silver lining.
Okay.
And when I say a silver lining, it was the fact that I started being honest, and I took a hard look in the mirror. And I don't remember thinking to myself, who am I?
Right.
Who am I when you remove all the things? Who am I really to myself?
Right.
Who do I want to be to them? And those questions were something that I easily avoided for probably a long time in my life, because again, we hide behind the titles. Absolutely. And we hide behind the, certificates and the diplomas and the things that they are at an added plus value to, but they don't define who you are.
Absolutely.
And I remember when I started writing these different chapters of my book, that I felt that I was being authentic to myself. Through the power of written word, I was being authentic to myself, because I will read that chapter and I'll still be able to weep. And when other mothers tell me, I read that chapter and I weep because you saw me.
Yes.
You saw me.
Literally.
So I know that I've connected and helped somebody who felt exactly the same way.
Incredible.
And it's opening that dialogue, because that's motherhood.
That is. And that's the
motherhood.
Whole point of your collective. And it's necessary on so many levels, because that's exactly the point. Like, we don't talk of it, and then you're deeper in your depression because I must be broken. There must be something wrong. How do I get out of this? And for me, like, literal, like, do you know those commercials of antidepressants where there's a person with a cloud, and then you see the sun, but there's that cloud, and it's so real. I almost I could feel how real that was, that like I was stuck under this rain cloud, but I saw the light, and like, how and why couldn't I be that way? And there was no one else. I like we said, COVID, and it was so hard to tell other people, like, I'm not connecting, I'm not in love. And like, that judgment, I can totally relate. I'm so happy that you wrote a book, and I'm so happy that you have this platform that you're offering, because it is scary and it is lonely. And I think that now, finally, because the word is out there and more people are talking about it, new moms can say, whoa, wait, that's a possibility. Okay, let me prepare for that at least. You can't prepare for it. But, I have a question, because, It wasn't a stillbirth for me, but between me and my brother, we had a sister that passed away at 9 months old from pneumonia. And I remember it like yesterday. I was 6 years old, but I was old enough. With my son, and I actually haven't said this before, but I'm going to say it because I connect with you. It took until 9 months to look at him and be like, please don't die. Did that resonate with you with your daughter? Was that part of it?
Absolutely. It was a reminder of like, you didn't keep, I felt like it was like a reminder of like, you didn't honor me. You didn't keep my memory because it was too painful. And I remember feeling like really guilty again of having a perfect daughter and not having that dialogue of like what had happened, because I honestly didn't want the judgment. I honestly was conditioned to feel like this mirage that we sell of motherhood is something that you don't want to mess with.
Yep.
And 1000%, I felt like she is this beautiful creature. She is her own person. She's here to teach me a lesson of what real unconditional love feels like.
Incredible.
And she's going to give me the courage to talk about the first one that got me here.
Yes.
Because she's the end
of
the beginning of like the triangle that I've created.
Incredible. Oh my
So
gosh, I have chills. I'm like, I totally get it. I get it. And like, I'm happy that I said it, but like, I can relate. Every month I was like, okay, you're still alive. Okay. We're still here.
Yeah.
Am I okay? Are we okay? And like, I wasn't okay. And like, I offer that all the time. Like, it's okay not to be okay. But like, it's funny because I went down, memory lane with my 6-year-old. And he is very big into like science and evolution. And he asked for the evolution of Luke. And so we went through, thank God, the iPhone. And like, that's all we do now is photos. So I'm going through and I literally went back to 2019, like as I'm pregnant, giving birth to him, and very careful not to show him in the NICU. There were pictures of him, you know, with tubes. So like scrolling through and going through all the memories and like thinking to myself, some of it I don't remember. Like some of it I don't remember the feeling. I don't remember that woman that I was. But at the same time, being able to look at the photos and forgive that person and not, you know, judge like you were too heavy. Why are you still heavy here? It's 2 years later. Like, what's happening here? And the most beautiful thing that he said was, you're here. Like, let's see photos of you. And I remember that night thinking, like, I'm so happy that I took those photos. Doesn't matter if the smile was real or not. But, like, our kids see that. Our kids just see presence.
Right.
And, like, I guess I offer it in, it's okay. And, like, to answer that mom, how do you get over the guilt? You just forgive and try your best, because we were trying our best.
We are.
We are. We tried then. We try now. It was the best that we had. It was the best that I had. And I think of it and, like, there were times where I was very angry. Did you ever find for yourself? Because
yes.
I personally was angry. And you know, a lot of people tell me, you know, you shouldn't be. But there was a point where I was angry at me and the situation.
Yeah.
And why it wasn't different.
Most definitely. I was angry at no one in particular and everyone, right?
Right. 100%.
And I think that had a lot to do with, like, being robbed for my daughter, being robbed of, like, the milestone moments for COVID, right? Like, the baby shower was strange, everybody wearing masks.
Yep.
My husband could not be there for every sonogram scan.
Yes.
And I was terrified.
Yeah.
Every time I
can imagine.
Yeah, every time.
That
And that fear was something that would paralyze me.
Right.
And I actually she was 32 weeks, or no, 30 weeks. I started having Braxton Hicks.
Okay.
And I started bleeding severely.
Oh gosh.
My husband, had rushed me to go see my gynecologist first. And for her to give me a directive of like, you got to go to the hospital, or we got to figure it out because we got to stop it.
Yes.
And I remember thinking to myself, my son's in the car. I'm trying to keep it together. I'm literally holding my stomach thinking I'm losing her.
Yes. Yes.
Like I can't, this moment is repeating itself.
It's
and
too
my
familiar.
husband's holding my hand driving, and he just has to drop me off there because he can't go in with me.
Oh my gosh.
And I that moment, and I was so angry. Like, why is this happening to me again? Like, why can't I just have a normal, like, pregnancy? Why do I have to go through the motions of all this? And in that moment, I was like, God, why me?
Right.
Why me? Why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
And if years would pass by, I would understand, because there were parts of this lesson that I wasn't understanding.
Yes.
There were pieces of this message I was not willing to receive.
Yeah.
And whether my body was, actively, going against me in many ways, like I felt like, I was a geriatric pregnancy because I was over 35. So maybe that had a little bit to do with it. But the fact that I was being considered geriatric, even after 35, I was like, I'm being robbed of all these milestones, all these moments. My husband can't hold my hand. I don't know if, this terrible bleeding is a bad indicator or it's normal. Like it was not like this prior. I don't know what to go off, and I'm alone.
Yes.
It wasn't like I could
Physically,
be like, like, Mom, help me out or pick up my son.
Right.
Like it wasn't an option. So I was completely isolated, and I was angry. I was like, why is this happening to me? Like it's literally robbing me of all the joy that I felt when I had my son.
Yes. I can 100% relate. And it's so funny because it's only recently I feel like people are starting to like resurface talking about COVID. Almost like we all wanted to forget that it happened.
Absolutely.
But like that was such a turning point for us, and especially as mothers that had babies at that time, nothing about it was normal.
Nothing.
And that's all you want is this community and this connection. And it's almost like you have cooties. Like that's how, like I can't go near you. I don't know what's going to happen. Like everyone's just in fear. So on top of being a brand new mom, fearful of being a mom, there's this fear of illness, and you don't want that for a newborn.
Yes.
And it was scary. It was scary. I completely...
We lost all touch with our emotional selves.
Yes.
And we were just like robots.
Literally. And everything was virtual. And, I almost wonder if that had to do with like the lack of connection. And like, I don't know, it just like downloaded for me right now. I wonder if that had to do with this inability to literally physically connect with our babies, because there was this relearning how to be social without physical touch, without proximity. There was, proximity markers, don't get too close to me. And I wonder how much of that like sat with us that we weren't allowed literally physically to connect with other people. And I don't know, that just came to me.
Yeah,
like,
that's a really good, I definitely felt that way. I felt disconnected with the like embodiment of like, I knew she was fine. I held her.
Right.
She was beautiful. But I felt again, like that lack of like, I'm holding this baby, but who's holding me?
That's beautiful. Yes, agreed. That's exactly what it's like. Who's holding me? And almost like you don't know that you need to be held. Like,
oh, I wanted to be. I
Did you?
I wanted to be
You were-
cradled. I wanted to be like. I felt like a warrior when I had her. I was like, yes, I did it. Like,
amazing.
I felt I had to give birth with like a mask on. It was disgusting. And
oh my
I was
gosh.
like, remember, just like when I took it off, I wrote about that too. When I
Wow,
looked at
yes.
myself and all the dry spit on my face,
I-
I looked like I had gone to war.
Yeah.
I looked like, and I took a picture like with my fist up and I was like, I did it.
Right.
And I pushed her out in 10 minutes and I felt like
Was your husband allowed in the room?
he was
during birth?
allowed.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Thank God. After passing,
thought of that, yeah.
they made him take a COVID test
Right.
while they were wheeling me up
Oh my goodness.
to, after triage. And thank God they allowed him.
Yes.
But I thought to myself, like, oh my God, like, what is happening in this moment? Like,
Yeah.
it was like very quiet, only one nurse allowed. When my son was born, there were 6.
I know.
Like, he was a really big baby. It was a very challenging child. Like, the birth of him was very challenging. But I remember, like, one of them
support.
helping me.
Right.
Yeah, like,
Right.
up. I went to go to the bathroom. I peed right after I had him. Another nurse was shoving a sandwich in my mouth.
Oh my
Like,
goodness. Yes.
it was, like, communal, right?
Correct.
With her, it was, like, one nurse.
Wow.
My daughter was born. My gynecologist my OB put her on my chest.
Yep.
We're trying to connect. Everything just felt like it was like in slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't really understand like the chapter of this book that I was like reliving. I was like, I know this is happening,
Right.
but it was like an outer body experience where
know.
you're like looking at
Yes.
all this transpire and you're like, is this really happening?
Correct.
Is this really my life?
Yes.
And not to say that you're aware that you're in your body, but
Yeah.
it felt like, again, there were all these players from before
Yep.
in your life, but you couldn't quite understand the narrative.
Absolutely. It's exactly that. It's an outer body experience. And I remember in my young stages of therapy, before kids, finding out who I was, I remember those exact moments saying, I'm living a movie. Like, I'm going through the motions, but like, my life is not who I am. And I wasn't able to bridge that gap for years. And you literally took me back. I forgot that we were pregnant with masks. And that was with my second. COVID had passed, but it was still a regulation at the OB. We had to wear masks. I remember not being able to breathe in the waiting room. Like, literally, they took I was far along, like to the point where it was, you have really high blood pressure, I might admit you. And I took my mask off and I'm like, I really think it's because I can't breathe. There's nothing like that. And I'm just picturing you giving birth with a mask on. Like, that is next level. Like, you really are a warrior. That is next level.
I felt like a prisoner, right? Like, I just like
my
a prisoner in
goodness.
my own, like, and for a long time, after she was born, my daughter was very, very attached to me.
Yeah.
Like, she would, after I was able to get her to relatch and breastfeed her, and she was such a good latcher too. It took a really long time for her to feel comfortable with anybody else.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't dawn on me that and what really, I still struggle with it. But it dawned on me the other day that I will always think that, I know she can't see me, but when she was born, did she see me with that mask on? It didn't see my full face.
Wow.
And I know that babies can't see. And I know that.
Yes.
But she was very fearful because for the first year of her life,
Wow,
all her
yes.
grandparents, everybody she met was masked up.
Yes.
So she didn't know who was who because she was looking at
Correct.
everybody like this for the majority of her life.
Correct.
So I remember thinking, God, I don't understand why she's so fearful.
Right.
And
Does
I
she
was
know
like,
that's me?
yeah, does she know that that's me?
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
her mom. Was I emitting that fear? And so concealing that part of ourselves
Wow. Yes.
psychologically, I think did something to our babies where they felt like this not inherent fear, but they're very calculative and measured. I don't know if your child is like
Yes,
that,
yes.
but they're very careful to connect.
That makes so much
considerate.
sense. Yes, because Luke is like that. My first one, who was the COVID baby, and Oliver's not. And I remember going down this rabbit hole of photos there was a mask on first day of preschool for him.
Mm-hmm.
You're absolutely right. And it's like, I almost blocked it out because postpartum and it's
Yeah.
like, gosh, you're absolutely right. COVID and the mask. And it's funny because I work with special needs children, and that was a huge thing that we advocated for. Having masks where the teachers should have the clear
Right.
like window, I guess you'd call it, because children were falling behind on their milestones because of speech. Because how do you learn? We're looking at our lips. We're looking at the tongue movement, the way your mouth moves, looking for that smile. So they're not understanding that connection. Like a baby connects through body language and
Exactly.
self-expression and happy and sad. And what does that look like? And you have nothing but the eyes. And I don't know if you know this, but the speech criteria changed. So what categorizes a special need or a delay dropped basically because they almost gave permission that they're not meeting that milestone anymore, but it's okay because of the masks. And I was thinking to myself, like, that is just terrible.
Horrible.
It's just terrible that we just kept making it okay. I mean, a whole nother conversation about COVID and it being okay.
Very
but
valid.
Your point is so valid. And like the wheels are turning because Luke is sensitive and emotional and attached. I mean, thankfully, very, very, what's the word? Like, appropriately attached. There's a word for it that is escaping me. Like, but yes, there is that he loves to be touched and he loves hugs and he wants the proximity. And it's such a good point. I wonder if it was all fostered in the era of, well, we really shouldn't, and you really, have to cover yourself and keep boundaries. And we did instill fear at that time of germs and COVID and being scared and wash your hands. And it's such a good point. I wonder if there was like a study done on, I mean, there must have, right?
Maybe we're the study now.
Maybe we're the study now.
They're this part of the study too.
It's so true because we won't know until years later. But I almost forget that happened to us.
Yeah.
That not only were we mothers struggling first, second, it doesn't matter. Every pregnancy is different. Like, it doesn't matter. You're always a new mom, I think.
I agree.
Every experience is different. Every birth is different. Every pregnancy is different. Every hormone is different. It's always new. You're always a new mom. And wow, I'm like, wow, just dawning on it with you. Like, yes, everything, yes. All the things like postpartum, COVID, learning, not having the support system, and then bring in the collective. Talk to me about it. So how do you find women? What are you offering them? Because now, please share with everyone, because you're doing this incredible, well, new to me, this incredible conference in March.
March 7th.
Tell me everything. So how was it born? How did you find the people? Where do they find you? Because that's so important.
So important. So Virtual Mom Collective was a humble Facebook group. That's our origins. I always say humble. Yes. And we had our first webinar. We had 4 moms come to talk, and they were just literally talking during, I think it was maybe month 2 or 3 of shutdown. Yeah, we had officially shut down. And a lot of women were like, yeah, how do I join? Like, how can I join this one conference? So I created like this cool like marketing group meeting thing. I remember it was like the lateral, and I created the Facebook group. I had the logo, and I was literally doodling in my journal because like all my job sites had been closed up. There was nothing for us to do.
Right.
We were like just at a checkmate, and I felt really stuck. So we created the first webinar. That was our, the Virtual Mom Collective. Well,
Yes.
be virtual. That's
that
our
makes
roots,
sense. Right. I was just thinking.
We started, the webinar, and we had predicted 50 people to join, because there was 4 moms talking about
Wow.
different,
Beautiful. Yeah.
different, they all joined, and they were talking about what it means to be a mom who is a content creator. Another one was she was a food blogger. The other mom she was a real estate developer. And the fourth mom, I remember she was just starting out just a parenting blog.
Amazing. Was it an entrepreneur
It was like
vibe, or was
it
everyone?
was like kind of like with an entrepreneur vibe, but more like a support group.
Yeah.
And so we hoped 50 people would show up that actually registered, and 287 women just joined.
Wow.
And they broke the Zoom.
Oh
and
my
the Zoom,
goodness.
like it was like that
That's
free Zoom that
incredible.
I didn't want to pay for at the beginning, and I was like,
we're cutting him off.
yeah, I was like, oh my God. So like we were deep into the conversation. I had created an agenda. The Zoom crashes, and
No.
yeah, so like I get it back up and running.
Right.
We were able to do like the Q&A portion.
Right.
And I remember just leaving a message after we finished the webinar, and then everybody started requesting to join. It was a
Yes.
private Facebook group,
Oh
right?
my goodness.
And so they were joining and asking when's the next one.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't have an idea. I was like looking at the feedback, and I remember reading the messages in the DM when we had only
Right.
47 followers. And I would go through every one of those DMs, and I would hear the same thing. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you for seeing me.
Yes.
Thank you for creating this. Thank you for bringing this to
chills.
light. Can I get so-and-so's contact information?
Yes.
And it was like the creation of a network, a virtual network, where not only was I creating space for anybody who wanted to join, but I was creating space for moms to come as they are,
Yes.
as a friend, like the
Yes.
Nirvana song. Come as you are, as a friend, zero judgment zone.
Yes. Incredible.
So the webinars, fast forward, the webinars were a thing for a very long time. We don't do webinars anymore. We do a virtual channel. We do interviews, not a podcast, but we do events in person now. And we always will be the Virtual Mom Collective, as they
Yes.
say, because that's our origins. That's how we connect. We have an app that
That's
connects
amazing.
everybody, who's joined since their inception. It's a fancy way of honestly remembering who we are
Yeah.
in that point, and honoring who we are now, and just remembering how we got here through whatever connection, whatever, grants, whatever webinar, whatever little piece of hope that Virtual Mom Collective brought to you in that point of your life
That's
to
beautiful.
get you to the next season of your motherhood.
Yeah.
And so fast forward, I realized that I needed to, I've never made this to make money.
Right.
I've never wanted to monetize on something where I just wanted it to feel communal.
Right.
And I remember thinking to myself, there were people in my life that when they were joining or being part of the beginning stages was like, we got to strategize. We got to monetize. We need to scale. We need to treat it like a corporation. I didn't need that.
Yeah.
And there were points in my life where I realized that if you don't have the right people in a board,
Absolutely.
if you don't put the right soldiers in command,
Correct.
you could get misguided as to where this leads.
Absolutely.
And I do know how to make money. I know how to make a corporation. I know how to do shareholder agreements. And it was really hard for me to realize that there were people who didn't share the same values or the
Right.
future of what I wanted for Virtual
Right.
Mom Collective.
Yeah. It's all about the alignment.
Right.
Yeah.
So they no longer aligned, and that was okay for me because I felt like I might have let that person down. And it wasn't because I personally felt like we didn't align in many ways, but it was the fact that I treated Virtual Mom Collective like my baby.
Yes.
And if you cannot, help this baby grow in a healthy way,
Yep.
and you're not aligned on just like the values of what we stand for, which are our 3 pillars, are maternal mental wellness, financial wellness for moms, and
Amazing.
equality in the workplace. Those are the 3 corners of the triangle. I know the triangle is like a theme in my life. Then, perhaps Virtual Mom Collective is something different to you.
Right.
But keeping that origin story, keeping to, our 3 pillars, fast forward, We are a nonprofit. We have been actively, very, very, very actively with our congressional members. We were invited to speak in DC about 3 years ago to talk about how we can expand FMLA,
Oh my goodness.
paid
That's
FMLA.
incredible.
Thank you. And help mothers who find themselves
Yes.
in what happens to me when X happens in my life.
Correct. And FMLA is?
It's the Family Medical Leave Act.
Yes.
And
yes.
we are the only country that does not have that. We have unpaid leave, which
Isn't that
it's wild. It's wild.
unbelievable?
We're still in a point where we leave it the policies, right, to either corporations to kind of like fill in the gaps. And the truth is that, mothers are they're a great investment.
Yes.
We are a great essential part of the workforce. And it took me to understand, like, losing all like different parts of myself and deconditioning the parts that no longer serve me to understand how important it is to support moms, whether they're, single, whether they're married, whether, they're in the process of perhaps one day hoping to be a mom and go through the IVF journey, like all those pivotal points of their lives of like hoping that they are part of a community that inspires them to say, you keep going. We're behind you. We got you.
Yes.
So
you're seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the summit is exactly that, right? We started, again, transitioning our events. We have Bridging the Gap, which is our fundraiser, which was in September.
Okay.
We awarded a mother-to-be who also lost her first baby as it was a stillbirth.
Wow.
And we supported her by giving her the Mother Mentor Grant, so she and when can go through her IVF journey if and when she wants to try again to be a mom.
That's beautiful.
And hearing that testimony, and not just her, Kelsey, shout out to you, but others that say, there was a point in my life where I wish I just had somebody to hear me out.
That's
and
right.
they're sent my way, and then to hear their testimony of what we did, for me, it fills my cup.
Oh my goodness.
Then I know that I'm doing
chills.
I'm doing something
incredible.
right.
Yes.
So our summit's March 7th. It's at FIU at the Frost Art Museum. It's our 5th summit. We always have powerhouse women come in to talk. It's a panel. Each panel has 3 panels. They're open to application process right now.
Incredible. We'll link everything.
Yes. And you can find it on Virtual Mom Collective's website. You can apply to speak if you feel connected to what we're doing, our activism, all the good stuff. And if you're just a mom who's looking for a space where you can feel like seen, empowered, and loved as who you are, then you've come to the right place.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Denise. And so tell me about your 2026 goals. You mentioned about your contracting. Is that something that you own as well?
So I am the minority shareholder, Nucor Construction.
Amazing.
I've been a partner now for almost 5 years. Jeez. And real estate and construction are my jam.
Right,
I love that. I love building.
Good.
I love, shaping the neighborhoods that we're currently looking at.
That's
and
beautiful.
I'm all about leaving, potential generational wealth for my kids. Maybe they don't want to do that, but at least knowing that I was part of something that I had the opportunity to grow, be a part of.
Yes.
And I feel very connected with, the fact that I love to help women in this space. It's a very male-dominated space still.
Absolutely.
And there's room for improvement because, we're part of this design process. We're part of like the way that we redevelop and we plan the future buildings and neighborhoods and highways. It's
incredible.
all part of like, we're all interconnected.
Absolutely.
So I just hope that, I can continue to expand my company. We serve the Tri-County area and also the West Coast. And Florida is a great state for that,
Incredible.
There's a lot of opportunity.
Yep.
And I'm like born and bred here. So like I've seen it from its absolute not so great to like much better to much improved to like the sky's the limit.
Yes. No, it's incredible. That's such a pivotal position to be in, and also where you're coming from, like the genuine love that you have. Like I can see it when you're speaking about it. Like it's not just buildings and it's not just, it's monuments. It's like you literally are shaping, like from a mother's point of view, like what better world, what better Florida, what better neighborhoods do I want for my kids? And I love that. Like you're oozing that. That's incredible. I love that so much. And then for the Virtual Mom Connective, you mentioned you're trying to go national, global. Where are we taking you?
Well,
Because
So
it's incredible and it's needed.
yes. So we serve. I mean, when I say we serve, that's like a demographic that's like combination, right? Virtual and like actual people who have shown up. Like the summit is like a 200 person. It's our biggest event, and I've had speakers come from all the way from Minnesota, and one who found us, she relocated from Alaska
Wow.
to Florida.
Yeah.
She found us like during the pandemic, and she's like redone her pretty much her lifestyle of like, and it's such a drastic change, but it's so nice because we've created not only the virtual community that she was looking for,
Right.
but she now has something that she goes to. She goes to our events. It's people that she's made connections with.
Right.
They help her with her business.
Right.
She's a copywriter and an editor. So she helps, a lot of moms who own businesses.
Yeah.
And whether it's like virtual, she's like a key component to helping moms who are like, whether part-time or starting their own, side hustle, because we all go through that motion.
Absolutely.
All of us, there is no shame, I will say. If you cannot leave your 9 to 5, there is no shame the fact that you do not own a business and you're doing a side hustle. That side hustle is very important. Treat it like you would like your baby. It is
Yes.
very important that you give it just as much love and attention, and it's okay to have a corporate job and do that on the side, because maybe one day you'll be a business owner, maybe you won't,
Absolutely.
and that's totally fine.
Yeah. But you're following your dreams.
Whatever brings you happiness,
Exactly.
whatever brings you the security that you need to feel like I got my kids,
Yep.
my job's got me,
Yep.
and that way I can be with everybody else.
Yes. I love that so much. And you are absolutely right. And I spoke to someone else on the podcast who had the same message, like do it in parallel, because you need to love what you're doing. And like, there is this whole community of moms that are seeking, and there are so many trades that everyone has to offer. So you're bridging all those gaps. You're giving the support of those that are moms and you just hold my hand while I'm a mom. And then those that are, trying to grow a business or starting a business, or, just what connection can you offer me? And I love that. And I love that's where we are now, that we're not like gatekeeping this.
Yes. That generation of gatekeeping, that's so like, Y2K. Let's leave that at the doorstep.
Absolutely. We're like, I do this, but I don't really want to help that person. Like, no, we are here. We are sharing knowledge. We are here to support, because everyone wins. And I think that's the key of womanhood this day and age. Like, we can all win together. We can all get together and grow and make the next generation, break that generational curse and trauma, and, teach how to feel and teach how to regulate or teach that it's okay that if you don't, and that it's okay to get help. And all of these things are just okay. And like, but the community that you offer, like I was going through the website and going through Instagram, and it's so necessary and it's so beautiful.
Thank you.
And I encourage you and want to be a part of it. And I think that like the more people that you reach, the more people that you help, the 3 pillars are beautiful. It's exactly all the points of life. It's incredible. I love that so much. And I thank you. We all thank you. All of us moms.
Thank you for allowing me to share my voice and my message.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Please tell us the title of your book.
It's called Womb of a Mother, The Odyssey of Motherhood.
Incredible.
And I feel like the Odyssey, right, is something that's continuous, because we are considered middle moms now, because we're in the middle chapters of like not so littles.
Middle moms.
And they're over 3, so
Okay.
you're entering the stage of like they start becoming more independent.
Yes.
And so that's where I stopped the book. It's the beginning to the end, really, of like when I had Sophia all the way till when I had Ava, Rose, and Anthony. Shout out to my kids.
Yay!
And they are a huge part of the chapters and the fabric that's still kind of like writing itself and interwoven into like the future generation.
Yeah.
And I decided to self-publish. I was not going to initially. And then after COVID, it really changed. You
Yeah.
can find it on Amazon. I'm proud that I self-published it because I really wanted to be able to translate it in Spanish,
Amazing.
which is something that I'm currently working on so that my Latina, and not only my Latinas, but my grandmother can read it
I love
in
that.
Spanish,
Yes.
so she can
Yes.
know that, you know, her the way that she mothered my mother and the way that my mother mothered me and the way that I'm mothering myself and Ava will
Yes.
have an eternal legacy for my book.
I love that so much, Denise. That's beautiful. And I will read it, and I encourage everyone to, because you're sharing a message that's real, that more than not are going through. And that's incredible. You're being supportive in so many ways. Oh, we can go on forever. I'm just like, I'm in awe. I think it's such a movement, and it's so necessary. And I love that you wrote a book. Like, that is, it's challenging. It's challenging to have the thought and put it on paper and reread and edit and live it, because you're living it. But I'm sure that there is healing in that.
There is that my book helped me heal. It gave me the courage to show up as I am.
I love that so much. That's so beautiful, Denise. And so for our audience, what is one or two key takeaways that really have elevated you, that you feel that you encompass at this point in your life?
I think what we spoke about at the beginning, where never mistake weakness for strength. It's the other way around, right? Your strength and your weakness go hand in hand. So whenever you feel like imposter syndrome takes a grip and you can't tell the difference, write it down on a piece of paper. I can't tell you how much the written word of how you feel in that moment, and you read it years later, will be a testament of how much you've healed in that process.
That's amazing advice. Yeah.
And the second one is ask for help, because I did not ask for help. I say it all the time.
Yes.
I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it all, and I could be the super wife for my husband, and the just like the stepping stone where, like, I didn't want to feel like any of the cracks. But asking for help, especially for other moms, like, we're all trying our best. It's okay if you serve mac and cheese twice a week.
Yep.
It's totally fine if they had frozen chicken nuggets. We
Yep.
are all trying to do the same thing, and and it's fine. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be great. You're doing a great job, and you are enough.
Oh, I love that, Denise. Thank you so much. This was
you.
a really, really powerful episode, and something really, really close and dear to me that I truly don't feel like is seen enough, spoken about enough, okayed enough. Like, this happens, it's okay. But also, you show us that there is another side. There is a way out. And I guess my final question, what was the turning point for you where you realized, like, okay, I'm no longer in postpartum, and now I'm ready to run, to shine? What was that pivotal turning point for you?
It was when I accidentally, yeah. The Virtual Mom Collective, they're just mothers that I collect, actually, no. But I joined a live.
Oh, okay.
I think 6 months into my daughter being born, going through like the motions of like that cloud, sort of seeing the light, not seeing the light.
Right.
And I remember seeing this person called Growing the Pizarros. You can look her up.
I will.
She is talking about the jewelry that she's making. She started a line of jewelry to honor her daughter, her late daughter. And I remember listening to her story, besides the fact that all her stuff was beautiful.
Yeah.
But there was a turning point in the way that she was talking about how she was honoring her daughter, Sabrina.
Amazing.
And I sent her a DM, and I said, you don't know me, but there's a part of me that I just need to talk to you. I started this small group called Virtual Mom Collective. Please reach out to me. Here's my number. She calls me, a perfect stranger. I was bawling. explaining my story, trying to explain, and between like my ugly cry, that I'm trying to breastfeed my daughter.
Right.
It's great, not great. Her story really, really, really impacted me because I was literally crying about the fact that I hadn't honored Sophia. And
Right.
I'm trying to digest this conversation with a perfect stranger. And she had so much grace for me. She just listened to me. And that's all I needed in that moment, because that person was the lifeline I needed to get to the next step.
Yes.
And when she openly said yes to me, and I was like, this person's giving me a yes, and she's accepting me for all the ugliness and all the feelings and all like the imperfections, and I saw her for what she was, it's because I saw her as so brave and courageous.
Yes.
And honoring her daughter was so beautiful, and I'm actually wearing one of her pieces. This is a rose. They're
I love that.
polymethylene clay. I'm not sure if I said that right.
I noticed, it's beautiful.
But she's selling these, and Kendra Scott actually is
Wow.
allowing these charms to be part of her necklaces.
Wow, that's
So,
amazing.
I mean, she is one of those people who I remember thinking to myself, this person gave me a yes. They told me that I'm going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believed them.
That's amazing.
I truly
amazing.
believed her. I still do.
Absolutely.
She's my OG.
Absolutely. And like full circle, that's what you offer your community. And thank you for that. It's, I think important for moms to know, like, there is a way out. And it's different for everyone. Take the time, find your community, find your support, find that lifeline, because it's out there.
It's out there.
That's incredible. And thank you. Thank you again, Denise.
No, thank you. Thank you for
just-
allowing me to come and talk. This is beautiful.
This was so beautiful and so powerful and so meaningful, and you are helping so many women, and we thank you. We all thank you.
Thank you.
Please stay tuned, like, subscribe, ring the bell, follow Denise, join the virtual collective moms. Find your community, reach out if you need help, and it's okay not to be okay. Stay tuned.